I'll keep
Can I
messing
try
with my
mine?
phone. Yeah, if,
Or you want, oh, you want to sign it to your Facebook, all right? So all I do is, or I can send it right to you.
that's fine. Do you mind?
No,
Thank you, sorry, I know
no,
you're.
I don't mind.
All right, let's just get started then.
But you got a thing there, right?
I do, yes.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Do we have citizens' comments? No. All right, then we'll move right on to approval of minutes from last session.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have to approve the public hearing minutes first, since we have two sets of minutes? No, we got two sets in here, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the public hearing.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
You approve both of them?
Yes, right?
Right.
I just did that one. I wasn't.
Public hearing and then the regular, and then,
So does someone want to entertain a motion to approve the regular minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second? Okay.
and then just note that the email from Charles was attached to the minutes regarding
Okay.
conversation, that Debbie made a mistake, sending an email to all four of you.
Okay.
So
It
it's
really,
attached.
it's a simple, honest mistake. It's just anytime we commissioners, because we're elected, we have to be careful not to communicate with more than two people at a time unless it's during a meeting. That's the rule. That's all.
So that's attached to those
It's
minutes?
attached to the minute.
Okay, that's what I didn't understand. Okay, cool. Bills?
Okay, monthly bills, I'll go over some of the unusuals. Adobe was, I believe, Photoshop for Natalie's computer. Air the Lights, soap for the building. American Vintage Home was a service call for the furnace. Bill's Drive-In, we bought lunch for the city crew and the Ridgeville crew. Put up the soccer pitch in Cayman. It'll be there until November 1st. As we go down, Dengio's was because the audit, everybody's here for the audit in the building, so we keep the auditors happy. Home Depot, there's a variety, it's a rather large list, or it's an expensive month. Door trim, paint for benches, 6 tables, 18 chairs. We put in a new fan and new light in the shed. Rebar, 6x6s. Oh no, sorry, 6x6s are Evanston lumber, and a variety of plumbing parts for the building. So that's why it was higher than normal.
And what are the tables and chairs for? These, do we need more?
We bought 6 tables, 18 white chairs. So, the brown metal chairs, they're starting to
Kind of lose it.
slowly getting rid of them. So. As we go down, Illinois State Police background checks, K-Park Recreation, that's not 5 benches, that's 4 benches. For Brummel Park, as part of CDBG, we will be reimbursed for that $3,427 within a couple months. Neo Post was a stamp machine upstairs, standard plumbing. We're slowly solving the Lighter Park lead situation, so we had to replace parts right outside the meter. I think you came by when we were replacing them, and it got tested again. We're slightly high, but it got tested again. The test is due back tomorrow. So the old brass fittings had lead in it if they're made before 2004, which they were when we put that fountain in. So now they're solid brass. There's no lead in them. So hopefully this next test is next to nothing. So that was standard plumbing. And I got to tell you, the city's been fantastic in, the water department's been fantastic in helping us over and over and over again. That's it.
I move that we accept the corporate monthly bill summary dated October 12, 2017 for the total amount, $20,318.85.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Petty cash?
That's a big one. It's two, I don't have it in front of me. One is our water permit that we get for the hydrants, and the other is Maggie Weber, which was School of Rock for the band that played at Bike to Ridge.
I move that we accept the petty cash monthly summary report dated October 11, 2017 for the amount of $350.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, monthly reports, wait, yeah. Natalie?
All right. This month, we are celebrating Muslim American Heritage Month. Our spotlight is on Iman Roudawi. She is an immigration attorney and provides representation to a variety of businesses involved in class action litigation and other civil litigation. She's a member of the Chicago Bar Association, Chicago Muslim Bar Association, and the Federal Bar Association. As a part of the Council on American Islamic Relations Chicago Travelers Assistance Program, she's one of about 300 regular volunteer attorneys who staff the International Terminal to provide assistance to travelers detained in the wake of President Trump's various travel bans from Muslim majority countries. Please read more about her on our celebration. Fiesta, our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, was a great success. We partnered with the Latinx Business Alliance in the city of Evanston. We had a great turnout. Mayor Haggerty came out. I got to meet him. He's lovely. And he joined us for the premiere event. We hosted 7 Latino-owned businesses from the Evanston community. We had 4 food trucks, a DJ, a piñata breaking for the kids, and more. And I hope that we get to do this with them next year. This is great. Our Fall Frenzy and Bike the Ridge, Brian will tell you a little bit more about that. There seemed to be more people here this year than there were last year. I don't know if that was my imagination, but it seemed very, very busy. It was a success. School of Rock played, and he'll tell you more. District 65 half-day workshops have begun. We're offering 2 half-day workshops. One of the workshops is called Story in Action. That's for grades 1 through 3, and then Meeting with Cordelia is for grades 4 through 8. Unfortunately, the one for the older kids was canceled due to low enrollment, but the storytelling workshop ran with 2 kids. We had 2 kids come, and they had a great time. They promised to go home and tell all their friends and bring them back in November. So, fingers crossed that happens. Farmers Market wrapped up. We had our last market last night. It was not the best weather for the market, but people came out. Gomez Far was a great addition this fall. They were here on October 4th and played for the last time. We also had the book bike from Evanston Public Library, which was really cool. We had 3 fairly consistent vendors this year, which was pretty great. I'd love to grow that more next year now that I have a handle on the farmers market and how that works. I'm gonna try to poach some vendors from the Evanston farmers market as well. The concert series, I think, proved to be really helpful on Wednesdays. That when we overlapped the concerts on the Ridge series with the farmers market, I feel like that brought in a lot more people and was more lucrative for the farmers, which was great. And yeah, all in all, success.
I just wanted to say I went to the Hispanic Heritage celebration. I thought it was great. Really well attended, and it seems like it could really grow. And some of the Hispanic businesses seemed really interested in being there, so that was really cool. And I just wanted to say thank you for doing this layout of all the classes and how that's going. I really appreciate that. I think it makes it make a lot of sense.
Yeah, good.
So that's good. Thank you.
The financial stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna explain that a little bit more. So the first fall session is wrapping up. We actually finished last week, and fall session 2 begins next week. So based on our conversations here, and again, now that I have been here and have a better idea of how this stuff works, I'm keeping very close track to sampler cards, our class enrollment, scholarships, discounts, refunds, and the instructor wages. After all is said and done, the goal is to break even, and as you can see, I printed this up for you, so you had an idea of what I was tracking. We are we are good. We're making, like, after all is said and done, we're up like almost $1,500, which is great news. So, my intent is to break even. So the fact that we've actually made a bit of a profit after all is done, I think is really great. I'm demoing a lot of the classes is what I'm trying to do with the new things that we've started. I attempted to do 2 demo classes on the stage for the last 2 farmers market, but weather this last night was not great. But we did move the demo inside, so it was still able to happen. And then the Zumba Bowl, I didn't have much of a turnout for that, unfortunately. But I think that idea of putting those classes out on that stage and utilizing it a little bit more throughout the summer, I think could be pretty cool. So I'm going to continue to investigate that moving forward. So this next session starts next week and runs through December 16th. All the same classes from the first session will be running again with the addition of Feldenkrais and mindful writing practice. Also, I have reached out to all of our current students and all of the students that are enrolled for next session, and I'm offering a bring a friend incentive. So if they bring a friend or if their child brings a friend to a class, and then their friend registers for the class for the winter session, then they both get $20 off their session fee. So I'm hoping that we'll bring some people in the door. I'm trying to figure out ways just to get people in the building to see how great these classes are so they know what they're missing and what they need to be here taking. So that's my newest incentive program. And then winter spring update, I sent out a program survey to the community. And I wrote this, and at that time 60 people had responded and even more have gotten back. So that's awesome, which is like 3 times the response that I had last fall when I sent one out. So that's really promising for me. Basically what I learned is that weekday evenings and weekend mornings and afternoons seem to be the hot spot for people. I also surveyed like who lives in the household, the ages of the people that would be wanting to come here to take classes. So all of that information, and then I also threw some options out there that I had conversations with people throughout the year about classes that they specifically told me that they would like to see offered here. So I threw those out as options to see what people were interested in, and then also gave them the option of writing in some classes that they'd like to take. So based on all of that information, I've put together a schedule starting in the winter session that will move throughout the rest of this fiscal year for us. So winter, spring, and summer of the classes that they have asked for at the times that they have asked for them. So I'm hoping that that's successful, that will get people here. So some of the classes that we're adding are women's self-defense. We're adding an entire Saturday series of kids dance classes. So we're gonna have more ballet classes, we're gonna have hip hop, we're gonna have tap, we're adding an adult modern class. We have some music and movement for tots, so things that families can come to and do with their kids. We have a kids and family yoga session, so parents can come with their children and we can all do yoga together. And we have youth tap classes. I've hired another yoga instructor, so now we have 2 yoga instructors. That was something that people had asked a lot about, is kind of expanding upon the yoga that we're offering here. So now we have yoga almost every day of the week coming up. I think that I have a solution to the garden to table program. So I've been busy interviewing and hiring, and I think I've almost doubled our course offering for next
Wonderful.
winter.
That's great.
So I printed up just the schedule that I've been keeping for the classes next spring. You guys can pass this around if you want to take a look. Nothing is it's not 100% in stone, and some of this I still have to run by Brian. So, but this is an idea of what we're doing. Additionally, I have talked to Sarin, who we work with. She's our graphic designer, and I had noticed in past brochures, we had kind of started to create this Studio 908 thing. So I'm trying to really focus on that, and so she's creating a logo that will be for Studio 908 that can be something like Foster Dance Studios or Kaleidoscope or Chicago Dance Theater Ensemble. You know what I mean? Those are names that people recognize. So I'm trying to rebrand the classing here, so it's an actual location, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great.
Something that people associate with I take my kids there for dance class, or I go there for my yoga classes. So We're working on that. It's gonna include the trees from the Bridgeville logo, but it will be Studio 908 with the trees. Anyway,
Cool.
that's what's happening. So you can take a look at this if you'd like, but that's it. And then, and then one other thing, in terms of like pricing for classes, I don't know that it's like in our best interest to raise them. I know we've talked about this a little bit. So what I am gonna do though is restructure the pricing. So right now, all of the classes for kids are the same price. All of the classes for adults are the same price, but some of the classes are longer. So like an hour class right now is the same price as a 2-hour class. So I'm just gonna raise the tier for longer classes. So if it's a longer class, you pay a little extra money. But the base rate will stay the same, if that makes sense. And that's it.
I think that was a really great way to reach out to the public about classes and get the interest. I think it's not an easy thing to figure out what people want and need, so I think that's really good.
Yeah.
So
It was
when does
good.
winter start?
January 22nd.
January 22nd?
This will be a busy building.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people here.
Wow, this is great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Brian.
Okay, some of it will be a repeat, but the past month, we've had 2 very successful special events. Hispanic Heritage Month on September 17th, and Bike the Ridge on October 1st. We celebrated our Fall Frenzy in Ridgeville Park in conjunction with Bike the Ridge. Several hundred people attended. School of Rock performed live music on stage. We had a moon bounce for children, along with bike repair, bike helmet giveaways, bike registration, food trucks, and Evanston Go. If you're around, you know that the weather cooperated. It was a wonderful event. Several city staff and dignitary attended, including Mayor Haggerty and City Manager Wally Bobkowitz. Update on the Community Development Block Grant is coming along. We anticipate the play circuit to be delivered no later than November 1st, 2017. I've ordered the benches. You just saw the bill, and the recycling bins. You haven't seen that bill yet. But we will remove the old play structure next week, weather permitting. We'll pick the right day. We're going to hang signs, forewarn everybody, and tell them what's coming. Our Halloween happening is October 26th, 4 to 5:30. It's always a fun thing to be a part of. A lot of little kids have a great time. Give away candy and pumpkins, and there will be entertainment also. The lighter water fountain is still testing slightly high for lead, just over 15 parts per billion. As I mentioned earlier in the bills, we replaced some brass parts that had lead in them. It's been retested. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get good news from the water department. Our maintenance crew have been extremely busy with bench repair. They replaced the door to the storage shed out here. It looks great. They painted the benches. We will be doing more of the same in the next month. We'll also be working on Cayman East light poles. I'll have an update for you next month on that. Met with the electrician today, and then we have to go back to the city, see if we can get the light poles go. We have to pull a permit. All those items are budgeted in the 2017-18 budget.
Great, okay. Jerry, I'm assuming.
Sorry for being a little late. I got to my office. The auditors were here on the 19th. They reviewed our records and gathered information, and they're now back in their offices doing what they do. We'll see probably the draft results near the end of this month or early next month. That's when we typically see it. Not much to report until then. Among the reports I handed out is an amended version of the final appropriations ledger for last fiscal year. It was amended because as I was opening up the new year and starting the process, I discovered a mistake that I made in handling the year-end accruals. So I had a conversation with the auditors about how they wanted to handle it. They said to go ahead and open up the books for last year, make the corrections, adjust it, and send them the new information. So that's what I did. what you'll notice is the difference is what had happened in going down the bills report, I'd gotten off a category, 2 categories next to each other, and grabbed the wrong figure and posted it as the accrual, and I should have grabbed the category total above it. It's where the page break on the totals happen. So the attorney's fees are $2,000 higher on the amended report, and they are, and the building maintenance and repairs about $250 lower. The alternative to that would have been booked into this year, but instead we dated it last year. We were billed in August for services performed in June, so we booked it back to June. The second appropriations ledger report that you've got is this year's through September so far. We're tracking right about where we would expect to be. The general fund's on target. The recreation and other funds are running a little high, but that would be typical this time of year because of the elevated spending levels through the summer months. The statement of revenue and appropriations shows that we have brought in about $292,000 so far against our expenditures of about $195,000. So our revenue exceeds our appropriations by about $98,000. But we're not going to be receiving any much more revenue until next calendar year. So we're kind of in that lean time of year where it's a good thing we've got a nice working capital fund and we're conservatively well managed. So it's going to, because our appropriations are going to exceed our revenues for the next several months now. We'll draw down our cash balances. And then the last report I've got for you is the outstanding items. These are items that something has gone amiss in the transaction where either cleared the bank accounts and didn't come first before you for approval, or you approved it, but it's never cleared our bank accounts. These require research by Anna Christina to figure out where the problem is and initiate corrective action of some sort. That's just for your information more than anything. It's just a sense of the
You don't need a motion.
No. The motions will come later when she figures out what's wrong and what needs to be done to fix it. Just because she gets stuck doing the work doesn't mean there are problems with what she did. It could be somebody lost their check, never deposited it, or people haven't done their paperwork to get the approval on the bills, things like that. That's all I got.
I'm just amazed at how many of those we get every year. It's always like lingering.
Well, she gets so frustrated because she feels she gets personally like she's screwing up, and okay, some of them here and there might be a mistake on her part, no big deal, we all make mistakes. But a lot of them are beyond your control, it's just stuff happens,
Okay, so Anna doesn't have a report, right?
Right.
Some of these here, have been approved as a charity. Some of these, have been approved today. I mean, it's a few.
Right, some of them will sell, things that have a relatively recent date, I'm not too concerned about. Like a lot of these late September uses of the debit card will show up in the October bills. It's just a timing issue. Anything, to me, what's a concern right now is anything that's got a date in July or older. And there's about 15 of those. Those 15 should get priority attention at this point. Some of the August ones, if you didn't have any of the really old ones to work on, the August ones would be my next priority. September ones, I'd sit and wait 30 days because a lot of them will self-correct with what happens in October.
Okay. I'm going to pass out something for strategic planning and goals. We had last time talked about that. I presented something, but I've got a new version for you.
Commissioner Bailey?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, first I'm going to start off with just reading Ridgeville Park District's mission, which you can actually read on our website. to enhance the quality of life, to promote a strong sense of community, and contribute to the health of our citizens, community, and environment by providing safe, attractive parks, opportunities to build community, and a diverse, challenging set of arts and recreational programs. What I'm proposing is that we do a strategic plan for Ridgeville. So I'm just kind of outlining in this document, what is a strategic plan? The purpose of a strategic plan is to set overall goals for your organization and to develop a plan to achieve them. It involves stepping back from your day-to-day operations and asking where your organization is headed and what its priorities should be. Why should we have a strategic plan at Ridgeville? Well, a strategic plan is a management tool that serves the purpose of helping an organization do a better job because a plan focuses the energy, resources, and time of everyone in the organization in the same direction. It provides focus and direction and to move from plan to action. So really it's our job as commissioners to direct the priorities and the values and the goals of our organization. So in this process, the board can come together on key issues for the Park District. We can share ideas on what our priorities are and values with regards to staff, programming, capital improvements, events, etc. Coming together on these things can help us guide us as we go through transitions and growth. It is important to look at the organization holistically when making major decisions. I served on the board over at YOU in Evanston. Are you guys familiar with YOU?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know if you're aware, but YOU recently has gone through a big growth spurt. They've built a new building, they're offering new programs. So while I was there, we actually went through a strategic planning process. And it was very extensive. We worked with the board, staff, and everybody had input on what way you wanted the organization to go. And sometimes you ask, well, what does this do for the organization down the line? Well, since we put together the strategic plan, there's been a lot of cuts in funding. And so, like for instance, we had a lot of 21st century grants at YOU that expired. And then with the state of the federal organizations and the Illinois state, a lot of those grants are no longer available. And so this year, YOU is actually having to go through and say, okay, well, what programs are we going to cut? And so this strategic plan was actually very useful because they were able to just say, okay, well, we decided this. We prioritized that. And so it was really helpful in just guiding this kind of difficult period. Anyway, so while I was at YOU, I got to know Laura Dell, and she was the chief operating officer at the time. She's a really remarkable woman, and she actually helped us go through the whole process. And so she, did it kind of from start to finish, what the goals were, what the outcomes were. Anyway, so when I was thinking about what we should do here and looking at how we move forward, I decided I would meet with her. And so I met with her one Saturday morning and, said I wanted to talk about Ridgeville, see what we were doing over here. And so I talked to her for about an hour and, she really listened, but she'd also read up on Ridgeville. I mean, she figured out who we were and she'd heard about us. She's from Evanston, so she is aware of Ridgeville. But she had really done her homework. So that I felt I was impressed by too. So anyway, she was suggesting that we come together for a day-long workshop or whatever you want to call it, a retreat, and just kind of come together and talk about what each of us sees as the future for Ridgeville, what our priorities are, what our values are as an organization, and then coming together and putting that information together for some concrete outcomes that we can use going forward. So what I'm asking right now is just that we take a look at this over the next month. And she's put her resume here, her proposal. And I'm just asking you guys to look at it and see whether or not it's something that we might want to do.
Is it okay to take a minute as to initial reaction?
Sure.
I love strategic planning. I mean, sometimes it can bore people to death, but I do think that's a structure that you can actually grow from. And some of the folks who've provided different boards I'm associated with and organizations for strategic planning kind of a retreat, it's much more expensive. I mean, this is a very nice price. If this is what I understand, $1,500 to help us sort of pull our strategic plan together, or at least have a retreat time. If that could work. And also that I believe in the idea, so I do look forward to looking at more details this month. Maybe we can talk about it next meeting.
Anybody else?
Well, take a look at it.
Okay, great, thanks. Capital improvements. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, Brian, you had looked into that furnace for
Right.
the building out here.
Right.
What'd you find out?
Well, the furnace can be replaced for anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500. We have a little problem with the gas, which can be worked out. So that's basically our cost. It's going to be about $3,500 on the high end.
Okay, and what about just a monthly fee for heating that building? What do you think that would be, like ballpark?
I don't know. I can't remember. But, you know, when it's not being used, we'll have the thermostat down. It's a small place.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty well-built place. It's not like Cayman Fieldhouse where the wind blows through it in the winter. Your heating bills.
First and second floor?
I'm
The
sorry.
heat would be the first and second floor?
Yes, but we can close off the second floor by the vents.
And that would be air conditioning too, or just heat?
We have a separate air conditioning unit, which we use now already. That functions fine.
So there's already air conditioning on both floors?
Yeah, but we have it turned off. We have the vents closed on the second floor. The air conditioning we barely use in the summer.
The door is usually open.
Because the door opens all the time, but when it's really, hot and humid, we'll use it. So you saw the electric bills in there; they're not bad.
I guess my only comment would be that if we were to go ahead and do that, I would want to maybe first think about what programming we'd want to offer in there. And if we had some ideas, you can.
I do. I actually, something else that I'm working on that I didn't mention in there is, there were some requests for childcare during classes that might open up, more availability for people. So I had reached out to a couple of our summer camp counselors, since they're on payroll and they're wonderful people, to see if they would be interested in, working, like developing something like that with me, and there was some interest there too. So I think if we were to get that up and running and it was well, I could clean it out and make it, like move some of the toys over there and stuff. I think it could be used as a childcare.
Is that something that we're providing, or is that something that?
They would pay for
they're
that.
paying for?
They'd pay for it.
Okay.
It would be run similarly, and again, this is stuff I have to talk to Brian about, but it would be run similarly to the way that we do extended care for camp. So there would be like an add-on fee for people taking classes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Makes sense. Okay, so I guess maybe just next month, maybe have more information on both of those then? Any other capital improvement? Anything else anyone wants to add? No? Okay. New business.
Thank you. Really, there's 2 points. One is on our agenda, so the other one isn't. I just want to note that, if I may, after our discussion, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Ridgeville Park District Foundation. We talked about it last month, and I'd like to follow up on that. With the new business, all it is really is a proposal that we put on our agenda every month, a call of the commissioners, which I'm defining as, maybe a 30-second, minute version from each commissioner of what they see is happening the previous month or the month ahead. It could be a chance for commissioners to maybe speak about what they're hearing from their constituents or ideas they might have that aren't necessarily on the agenda, but it's a way to just talk a little bit informally for a minute or less from each commissioner, so we could have their voice each month presented.
So there's no discussion on it, it's just saying something and then move on to the next person.
Yeah.
If you have something, right? And it's not a must, right?
I'm sorry?
It's not a must.
Oh, no.
So it's just if you have something.
It's just an option.
So an
yeah.
example of that would be if I had an interaction or something with Brummel Park, which is down the street from me.
That's right.
Or Ann and the 8th and 9th Ward Aldermen are having a joint
Yeah.
meeting tonight. It just happens to be tonight, but I wanted to go to that, but we had our meeting, so, yeah, okay, so something like that. All right.
Where would it occur in the?
Wherever the board thought it was natural. Sometimes it's sort of nice to do that at the end, so we get our business done. This could be kind of like a closer before we close. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, Anna had sent out something a couple of weeks ago about the park districts that had won awards. And I just thought it might be interesting to look at, why they won these awards or what they're doing to get that recognition. And I looked at one that was, kind of closer to our population. So just things like that, I think, it might energize us,
Kind of like a formal, brief relational building option. So, because sometimes we do sit in meetings and we can't hear from each other, just because that's the way the business works. So this is a way to open up the door and just catch up with each other.
All right, so I think that's the end of our regular meeting.
So are you gonna,
I had-
is it gonna be on the agenda next month?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
I think we should put it on. Does anyone else agree?
It's all right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I wonder about it being at the end though, I don't know, I'm just wondering, I wonder if we'll get into too much discussion of things that should have been discussed in voting. I mean, we can see, you know what I'm saying? Might be, well, we already voted on that, we shouldn't.
Or maybe have a time limit,
Oh,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
even, I was just
Okay.
thinking that might be, but whatever.
And that's what I like about how the city does it. They do a similar thing in their board, their city council is it's at the
They
end.
do it, oh,
And
yeah.
it's right, and what's cool is it's not really business, it's not, the purpose of it is not to bring up a new item.
Right,
It's
what's
really
going
just
on.
to share, like there's an event going on in town, or I heard this happened, it's kind of like an informational.
like this.
Yeah,
We need to talk about going to this. This is the Tales from
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Tavern Tales for the Ridgewood Foundation,
Yeah.
November 5th.
Yeah, I was upset, well, about the meeting being tonight.
Yeah,
The night
you.
before. That's too bad.
I know I wrote that I can't come.
I wish there'd be I wish we were on the big city council, I guess is what I'm saying. I know there is a city calendar so that they don't, I think we should be on it.
Debbie, that's a great idea.
I'll talk to him.
It costs no money.
What?
It costs no money. It's just
Right. I would
information.
have gone to that meeting too, It would have been nice.
Nice. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's just a question of having more communication with some of those
Yeah.
aldermen.
Yeah.
I think,
Kind of tangentially related, we had a presentation at our office meeting this morning by a gentleman by Pete Giangreco, who is going around doing presentations to groups about fundraising for the Robert Crown Center project. And he plays a little video about what the project is and what's going on in the community. And as I sat there, he was there because we were realtors and present in the community and had a perspective. But I was thinking from a Ridgeville perspective, there was a lot of opportunity to in my view, maybe kind of brainstorm for ways to collaborate together between the two organizations. So I thought it might be helpful to invite the gentleman in for a 5-minute, it was about 5 minutes in our office meeting this morning. Just come in and do his standard presentation, so you know what he's around saying, and see kind of, does anything pop out of that would be of interest to pursue.
I think that'd be great.
Why not?
Gene Greco's brother?
I have no idea.
Channel 5, I think that's his.
I only know he used, the reason, we don't normally let outsiders into our meetings,
Big
but
hockey guys.
he kind of got the in on this because he used to be the next door neighbor to our managing broker.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, yeah, I think all that, community stuff is good. The more we can, like, Natalie and I went to the welcome for Ken, what's his last name? Ken, the guy over at St.
The
Francis.
new president of
Presence.
Oh,
St. Francis.
Johnson, or is it Jones? Or?
Jones, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jones.
Anyway, the Y had a welcome for him, and I thought, well, it'd be really good for Ridgeville to be at least communicating with St. Francis, and so Natalie and I both went, and it was a very well attended event, and we met a lot of people. I mean, a lot of community leaders were there, and so it was a good way to just kind of get our name out in the community and let them know that we're here.
May I say one thing about the website that you mentioned? I reached out to the development director of District 65, just so that I could meet her and we could talk about potential partnering opportunities like you're discussing. But I noticed on the District 65 website, everything is directed there now, and then you can select a school. So you can select Oakton or Dawes or what have you, and it'll take you to their specific school site. But everything branches from this new District 65 website, and they've got a community tab. And when you select the community tab, it's got links to city programming, other programming in Evanston, all kinds of stuff, but Ridgeville's not on it. So I've been investigating, that was something else I'm gonna talk to her about, is how to get Ridgeville's website put on the community tab. So I can also, and I feel like
I was gonna talk to
that's,
Cecily, our old
Mhm.
woman, and
And ask her.
suggest that it be, but.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we should be. I
Right,
mean,
that's through District 65, right?
Well, no, I was gonna do it through the city, but the district, I'm on that District 65, Facebook or whatever, but that's true, you're not on the.
I feel like the conversation that I will eventually have with whoever is in charge of creating their web design or whatever will probably lead me back to the city. So
Oh, okay.
I'll just keep you posted if I
Okay,
learn anything.
Perfect.
Also, I just wanted to bring up this idea as a second point for new business was, since we did talk about the Ridgeville Park District Foundation last month, and we didn't really know a lot of facts about who's on the board, could we just extend an invitation to someone on their board to come present to us, in December or January, just to update us on how it's structured, how it's going, and what we can do to partner with it.
Yeah, I think you had said that you
I did.
had
I reached out to Mike.
reached out to them.
Yeah, he wasn't able to come tonight, but if December, or if there's a specific month you'd like that to happen, I can tell him the date. And
Sure. Well, I don't mean to pressure him, but December or January, in the next couple of months, if we had somebody come, I think it would be helpful.
Yeah, I kind of would just like to know where they're going. Yeah. All right, so are there some further citizens comments? that you'd
Well,
like to-
being the citizen here,
A citizen comment.
I think if you pursue the strategic planning session, I would suggest having a portion of that day for citizens to come in and let people know in advance that you're doing strategic planning and bringing, off of the afternoon for the executives to come in.
Have some input.
It has some input.
How would that work? Would that be a meeting?
That's a good question. I think we'd have to talk to Charles about how
Yeah.
that becomes.
Maybe have two separate, have a retreat type thing for us, but also have something for.
Or maybe kind of a citizen group before the retreat, and then you can talk about
Right.
Ideas to take
Whatever
care of.
people provide, it's,
I mean, structurally, what we've got in place is we could hold like a special meeting, and it could be start with public comment, and then we go into executive session for a few hours for the retreat, and then have a summary about it.
Uh-huh.
And then come out and have public comment then. There's two options for the public to do, but that would be legal, I think.
Right, and we probably should talk with Charles
Yes.
about how that would work. But I know other park districts do this, and I don't know how they do it, but I don't think it hasn't been done. But I think that's a good idea about citizen comments as well. And it could even be a different day, you know? So, anything else you wanted to add?
Seems
or-
like it would be good to have it before so that those comments can be taken into consideration when we talk to her, if we talk to her.
Yeah.
and if you go with that, consult, maybe ask if she's used that approach before.
Uh-huh.
We're not gonna do it, it's just a matter of taking, any organization wants to get, or, that they're there for a purpose, and that's to serve the community, or to serve whoever their customers are, so.
Certainly.
You can't do your strategic planning totally in a vacuum from, and this is a small board, so.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's a very good point. And the timing.
We worked as a group, like the iParks people, when, I can't remember, because
Oh, yeah, we did, right.
How did that, did that have to run as a public meeting to avoid the law and everybody coming together, or is there some type of?
I don't remember. Do you remember,
way
Brian?
around that?
Remember when we met with Peter Murphy?
I think it was 2 Octobers ago, 2 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Do you remember how we managed that with the Freedom of Information?
No.
Great question. I don't know how we dealt. I think we didn't deal with it.
Yeah. So we do need to address
Yeah,
that issue as well.
yeah, so I'll ask Charles, but I don't think well, I'll ask Charles, but I don't think it's going to be a major problem.
No, I don't either.
It's an educational
And it
retreat.
kind of keeps with our mission statement, serving the residents.
True. I mean, like I said, when I did it with YOU, we involved staff. We had a lot of people involved in the process, and it was very helpful because, like at YOU, the staff is a huge part of that organization. They didn't really have the kids. I don't think that would have been appropriate, but it was important to hear what the staff had to say. So, all right, if that's everything, I think it's time to adjourn the meeting and go into executive session.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Second. It's 3-4, we're losing.
All in
Top
favor?
and third, but we have a guy on third, 2 out.
We're not in favor of them losing.
Unless you want to see that, or if Ann wants it, that's what I was talking, this is the schedule for the winter.
Yeah, we might have
Yeah,
to
if you
look
want
at
to
that.
see, yeah. The green classes are happening downstairs, the orange are upstairs, and the blue are still up in the air. But there's a lot.
So are these not yet happening?
Yes, they are happening.
So blue is new. Blue is new.
No, blue is, I haven't hired, I've been interviewing for this position, haven't hired it yet. So based on the instructor, this
Three
time
out.
might change, so
That's all
that just
right.
means that
3 to 4.
I want it to be from 7 to 8:30 on Wednesdays, but it might not be. It might be on Thursday, for example.
Oh, did you get a hold of my Spanish instructor?
I left her a message and I talked to Barb today.
Oh, good.
The babysitting and CPR is new, I've hired someone for that.